Well, Toronto FC have put themselves on the world football map more than ever before this season. The Canadians added to their already talented roster an extra special talent. One of the top paid players in the MLS, Sebastian Giovinco. The Atomic Ant has become a star in North America. Yeah, I'm really loving it here. I'm happy with my choice to go to the MLS. And I hope to stay here for a while. A new world for the former Juventus player. Sincerely, I didn't think it would be like this. There are no easy games. Of course, there's still a lot of work to do, but we've already laid the foundations for a very good basis to grow this club further. The more top players that we get here, the better for the team and the better for the whole of the MLS. It's an entertaining championship with many goals scored. It really is a spectacular competition. Well, top scorer, 22 goals, top assist, 16. A new MLS record for the combined total of goals and assists for Giovinco. A little player from Cheyrou has helped his new club qualify for the playoffs for the very first time. After 8 unsuccessful years, the franchise from Altidore have finally made it. Big satisfaction here, and it appears the natural result of the strategy that was laid in place to develop this club over the past years. Giovinco was certainly a gamble, but it's worked perfectly as he's become the team's true leader in their attack. Guided by its captain Michael Bradley and 2 more experienced European players, Benoit, Cheyrou of France, and Franco-Pole Damien Perquis, the team became a true force this season. This is our focus on Toronto FC. The revelations of this season.
First time for the qualification for the playoffs. It's huge. You come here after your second year. You're already a big step reached out. So what's next step now?
We believe it's a launching pad for everything that we're going to do next. Obviously, this year we were able to bring in a number of key players: Sebastian Giovinco, Benoit, Cheyrou. We have Michael Bradley from last year, Jozy, Altidore, as well as we have a number of homegrown talents from the Toronto area. So we're trying to blend the two in order to create a team that is consistently competitive in Major League Soccer.
As the last season ended last year and I was new in the position, it was our one mission to say we will never be in this position again where we don't make the playoffs. And we hit the off season with some hard work and started to build our team. And so to finally kind of get those points that get you into the playoff was a bit of relief, but we also know we have a lot in front of us to still try to accomplish.
The success of Toronto, though, was certainly symbolised by the incredibly quick adaptation of the MLS of their Italian magician, Sebastian Giovinco.
Did you expect him to do that well this season for his first season in MLS?
You know, we knew that he would be a very, very good player in this league, a great player in this league, one of the best in the league. Did we think that it would happen so quickly? You know, I don't want to say no, but what I would say is that over my experience in Major League Soccer and working there, it takes internationals some time to get to acclimate to the league because it's a far move for them. Typically, they're bringing over their family to North America. There's between our cities and our league, there's vast, you know, it's a lot of miles to travel, and it takes a long time because you're flying to most games. So it takes players more time than usual to sort of adjust to our league. That said, Seba came in from day one and started scoring goals. So a little surprising how quickly it happened, but not surprised in the overall production.
Former heroes such as Dwayne De Rosario or Jermaine Defoe never managed to drag Toronto up to this level. Several times, Giovinco was Player of the Week, Player of the Month. He scored goal after goal, and many of them decisive. He certainly answered the confidence and the investment that Toronto put in him. It was a wise decision, and certainly an audacious one. But the club believed in the talent of this player, despite criticism from Europe, that he should have stayed longer at Juventus.
Il a des qualités individuelles qui lui permettent de faire la différence.
Well, he's
tout
got
seul,
individual
par
qualities
sa
that allow him
vitesse,
to
sa
make the
vivacité,
difference
sa
on his own,
technique.
thanks to his
Il peut
speed,
frapper
his
pied droit, pied gauche.
technical ability, he can
Ouais, s'ils ont
shoot
pas
right
encore trouvé
foot,
la
left
parade,
foot.
pour l'arrêter, mais c'est
Yeah, they've yet
compliqué,
to
ouais,
find
c'est
an
sûr
answer
qu'il
to
fait
stop him.
une saison énorme, et je suis
It's
content
tough to
qu'il
try.
ait retrouvé la
He's
la
had a
sélection
magnificent
italienne aussi.
season,
Je pense que cette année, il a
and I'm
prouvé
happy
que
that he's back in the
il
Italian
avait un
squad
énorme
too.
talent. Alors,
He's
il y
proved
aura
this year
toujours
he's got an
les gens qui
enormous
vont dire,
talent.
oui, mais les défenses là-bas, c'est.
There will always be some people who
Je
say,
pense qu'il y a
well,
un paquet de buts
the
qu'il a mis cette
standard
année
isn't
qu'il
so
aurait pu
good
très
over
bien
here.
mettre en Europe.
I think
Et,
there are several goals he
et
scored
voilà,
this
je suis
year
content
that
pour lui parce qu'il retrouve aussi la
he could have
sélection.
scored also in Europe. I'm happy for him
C'est très
that
bien.
he can play
He's
again
really
for Italy.
a guy who's thinking about the goal all the time. And some of the goals that he's scored for us just through individual effort, through his own creative thoughts have been truly special, some of the most special goals we've ever seen in this league. So that being with him on a daily basis and pushing him and establishing a structure around him where guys can help him and we can continue to get the most out of him has been an interesting challenge. But he's a pleasure to have. He's a great person. He's got a great personality. He lights up the room, and he's an incredible competitor, which has been a great addition for our group.
Well, his obvious talent and strong performances also resounded in Europe, where Antonio Conte, the head coach of Italy, recalled him for the qualifiers. Supposed to be lost for the highest level of football when he joined Toronto, Seba, on the contrary, has become an example. But joining the MLS doesn't necessarily represent the end of a career.
Tu penses que le fait qu'il revienne en
Do you think
équipe
the fact that
nationale
he's
italienne,
returned to the
c'est quand même
Italian team is a
beau
good
signe,
sign for all the
tous les
European
joueurs
players who are
européens,
afraid to come here
qui ont
as they
peur
could
de
lose their
passer le
places
cap et
in
de
the
perdre
national
leur
team?
équipe nationale?
Ouais, c'est.
Yeah, it's a typical example of a
je
player
pense,
revival.
l'exemple
We can
type
say so, and a mark of
de
confidence that Conte has in him.
entre
It
guillemets,
shows
d'une
to all those
renaissance,
players,
mais
even
aussi
Pirlo,
d'une marque de confiance
still in
de
the
la
national
part
team,
de Conte.
Kaká for Brazil.
Et
These
il
players
montre à tous ces
allow
joueurs
others to
qui,
think
même
that
Pirlo qui
the
est encore en
MLS
sélection, Kaká qui est en sélection
isn't
du
so
Brésil
bad
aussi.
after all.
Voilà, c'est ces joueurs-là qui font penser que finalement les États-Unis c'est pas si mal.
Il y a un peu de niveau.
Et il y a du niveau.
There is
Il y a du
some
niveau.
level.
Il y a beaucoup
Yes, there
de
is
gens en
some level,
France qui,
a good
qui
level.
m'appellent pour me dire que le championnat est de plus en plus
Many people in
médiatisé,
France
c'est très
call
bien.
me to tell me
C'est
that
une
the
bonne chose,
championship
je pense
is
qu'il
more and more
voilà.
publicised and hyped, and that's great. It's a good thing.
Son
Giovinco
épingle
can
à tirer
compete. It's
du jeu,
an interesting championship
c'est un
which is
championnat
developing more and more.
qui tend à se développer encore.
With these players
Le
and
fait d'avoir des
international
joueurs de
reputation,
renommée
it gives it
internationale qui
extra
viennent,
exposure.
effectivement,
Players
ça
like
apporte une
Giovinco show that
exposition
27,
supplémentaire.
28, even
comme
they could
Sebastian
sign for a great
qui
European
montre
club, but they've come here instead.
À 27-28 ans,
Shown his
en
qualities
pouvant
on the
signer dans un grand
pitch.
club européen encore, ils viennent ici et il a montré toutes ses qualités
And that can only
sur
be
le
great
terrain,
for the
et,
league.
je pense que c'est bien pour la ligue.
At 28 years old, a new star in North America, Giovinco's had a great first season abroad. Efficient all over the pitch. He enjoys life off it too. In Toronto, a cosmopolitan city, he even found one or two Italian corners, and that's where he gave us a second interview about life in Canada.
Thank you for welcoming us in one of your favorite restaurants, Italian restaurant in Toronto. Is the food, the Italian food, as good as what you have at home or not?
Guarda, non devi dire grazie a me, devi dire grazie a
No, you don't
al
have
mio
to thank
amico,
me.
è sicuramente uno dei miei posti preferiti.
It's thanks to my friend who showed me.
Ci si avvicina molto al
It's one of my favourite places. It's very close to the food that we have in Italy, but
cibi italiani, no?
above all, it's the
Ma al di là di
atmosphere that
quello
we
è
like.
proprio l'atmosfera che mi piace.
There is a big Italian community in the city of Toronto. Do you feel it? Do you think they're backing you up? They're behind you?
Sì, so che è una delle comunità più grandi.
Yeah, I know it's one of the
e
most important communities in
bene o male,
almost
in
every
ogni-
part of the
quasi in
city.
ogni
You
angolo
can
della città,
find something
ci
Italian.
sono
You
trovi
can
italiani,
see
quindi
and feel a lot of this community around.
si vede, si sente molto questa comunità.
We're a big fan of baseball now. You going to every game?
Yeah, yes, now is parlo un po' inglese, un po'. Scusa. No, adesso anche in città, allo stadio
I
sono
speak
andato.
a little bit in English, sorry.
per la
Yes,
prima
I
volta,
went
devo
to this
dire
big stadium in the
che
city for the
c'è una
first time. There's
bellissima atmosfera.
a really great atmosphere.
Pensavo di annoiarmi, invece mi sono
And I had
divertito
a
molto.
lot of pleasure there.
The
It's great.
atmosphere in the stadium is incredible. Do you think we can get that in soccer soon in Toronto?
Guarda, è sempre bello giocare davanti
Listen, it's always great to play in
50.000
front of
persone,
50,000
no? E
supporters.
nel
In baseball, it's already the
così,
case, especially
soprattutto adesso
during the
che
playoffs. So,
sono ai playoff. Io
yeah, it'd be
mi
nice to think that
auguro
it could also
che
happen
questo possa
in
accadere
soccer.
anche nel calcio.
The people in the stadium, there's a lot of Italians coming. Do you think more and more will come see you at the game?
Ma questo è quello che mi
I hope
auguro,
so.
ma
But frankly, for me, I
siano
don't care if they're
italiani o anche
Italian or
canadesi.
Canadian. The most important
L'importante è che
thing is that now
anche nel
in
calcio
soccer,
adesso si
we already have a great
respira
atmosphere.
questa atmosfera.
What's your favorite neighborhood in the city in Toronto?
Io vivo a Yorkville.
I live in the Yorkville neighbourhood.
Lì sto veramente
I really
molto
like it
bene.
there.
Però devo
But the
dire
whole city of
che
Toronto is really
tutta la
nice.
città è molto molto bella. Great city.
Great city.
Well, after the break, we stay in this great city with Bradley and co to discover how Toronto FC want to grow their franchise further. Don't go away. Toronto FC as a club is just 8 years old. Before Giovinco, the club already took an international from an Italian club. In this case, it was Roma, because they wanted to build a more competitive team. They acquired the American captain, Michael Bradley.
Obviously, when I came here, I knew that it was a team and a club that hadn't had much success, but I saw the potential, and I saw everything that was going on here in terms of the training ground, the stadium, the fans, the support, the media, everything, and I felt like it was a really exciting project.
With more and more experienced players added to the roster, they've achieved their main goal by reaching the playoffs. It's a great achievement, an historical one, but they want to go
Playoffs
further.
is just the first step. You know, it's an important one, and so for that, it's an important step, but it's not the most important. So we still have a lot of work ahead.
Although Toronto's level has grown impressively in just a few years, it's also the case of the whole league. The purpose is not just to put names on the roster, but to build a good, solid team to compete for all the major honours.
It continues to improve. It's not an easy league to play in by any means. You're challenged every week, physically, competitively, and what you start to see now is the best teams also have players who can make a difference at any moment. You know, there's real quality.
A quality that's evolving little by little.
Here you get a lot more energy and drive and desire and competitive sort of battling, if you will. Whereas in the European game, there's a little bit more, there's thinking, there's more understanding of sort of game and what the game needs, and reading of the game and collective reading of the game is a little bit sharper, and guys have a better sense of that. You're starting to get a nice combination of both sort of that energy and endeavor.
With these European players and with North American players having played in Europe, Toronto wanted to add creativity, skills, and more tactical nous. Former Ligue 1 players Benoit, Cheyrou and Damien Perquis arrived also this season from Marseille and Betis. With more than 25 matches, they've already found their mark in this championship.
Toujours la question que tout le monde essaie de poser, savoir.
It's always the question everyone's asking with Toronto. How would we do in Ligue 1 or Ligue 2? Where would we finish? It's always difficult to compare. It's really another way to approach this sport with all these trips, all the temperature changes, the soccer culture not deeply rooted from generations before. The media coverage of the sport still below one of the major sports like NFL, NBA or NHL. It's tough to compare, but it's certainly progressing.
Ce championnat est en train de devenir quelque chose
The league is becoming
d'important et
something
de-
important, and maybe
il va
it
finir
can expect
peut-être
to
par être
become
énorme.
really
En
huge.
tout cas, c'est ce que je lui souhaite.
That's what I'm hoping.
Maintenant, je dirais
Now
qu'il y a
there
des
are still
règles
some
qui restent propres à
Rules,
la MLS
the MLS's own rules, and
et à ses patrons qui sont un petit peu gênantes
the
par
boss has
rapport
put
à
them in
la
place,
venue de
which
grands
could
joueurs,
affect the
mais
arrival of big
d'autres
players,
grands
new
joueurs,
big
mais
players
c'est vrai
coming in,
que
it's true. But if that
si
can
ça pouvait
change,
évoluer sur ce domaine-là, ça
then
évoluerait certainement aussi
anything all around it would be
en
able to
parallèle.
change too. Perquis injured, only Cheyrou could enjoy the excitement of ending the regular season. 34 years old, the Frenchman quickly adjusted in midfield alongside Bradley, forming a very efficient duo.
I knew him, not personally obviously, but just from having watched him play. You know, certainly had a lot of respect for him as a player and everything that he was able to accomplish at Marseille. And I think really from the first day we developed a good relationship on the field and off the field as well. And I think his quality and his presence in our group is very important.
Toi, t'es arrivé, t'es devenu en fait le deuxième patron de l'équipe.
Yeah, you arrive and then you become the
Quand il est pas là, c'est toi qui
second captain of the team after
ça y est,
Michael.
hein,
When
tu
he's
t'es
not there,
installé,
you're the
tu t'es
one that
imposé
takes
dans
the
le club.
armband.
Non, je pense que de par mon expérience,
You're really
de par
part
mon
of this
vécu,
club.
peut-être ma
From my
personnalité
experience,
aussi,
my
j'ai
own
été
life,
capitaine
maybe
dans tous
my
les clubs,
personality also, I
dans
was
lesquels j'ai
captain at all the
l'habitude de
clubs I
jouer,
played for in Europe,
en
so
Europe.
it's not really a change for me.
Voilà, c'est pas quelque chose qui change
To have
pour
the
moi.
armband
Avoir
or
le
not
brassard ou non,
makes
c'est
no
pas
difference.
différent non plus.
I try to encourage the
J'essaie
younger
de
players,
justement parler aux plus jeunes, essayer de
try to
faire
make them
progresser
progress,
l'équipe et d'apporter à l'équipe, pas seulement sur le terrain, mais aussi de
help them
en
move
dehors,
into the
et
team,
de
not
faire
only on the
progresser mes
pitch but also
coéquipiers
off
pour
it.
avoir la meilleure
I try
équipe
to make my
possible.
teammates progress and get the best results. 7 assists, the former Marseille captain has proved he's still got a lot of talent as a playmaker. 28 appearances in all as a starter and an indisputable leader. Benoit Cheyrou certainly feels at home in Ontario.
C'est une ville très agréable, les gens sont très
Yeah, it's a
accueillants.
really nice city. The
C'est une
people are
grande ville, il y a
very
beaucoup de choses à
welcoming.
faire.
It's a big city,
Le
so
climat
there's
est très
many
varié
things
de
to do.
l'hiver à l'été,
The
donc,
climate is
il y a
very
plein de choses
different from
différentes à
summer
faire,
to
et
winter, so
c'est très agréable. C'est une
gives
ville
you
très
even more
sportive,
options
entre
to
le
the
basket, le
activities we
hockey
can do. It's really
et le
nice.
soccer, comme on dit ici.
It's a sports city as well, basketball, ice hockey and soccer, as we say here now. There's a European influence, many Italians, Portuguese, Polish here.
Cette ferveur au niveau du
We can
foot,
feel
au
the
niveau du
passion
soccer,
around soccer more
plus
than
que
in
dans certaines autres
some
villes,
other
des
cities
États-Unis ou du Canada.
in the USA or Canada. The European and French influence is not only on the pitch, but also on the club staff, with the arrival 2 months ago of Laurent Guyot as academy director, former coach of the French under-17 team. He found a new way of bringing through the youngsters in Canada.
Le club a des ambitions au niveau de la formation. Les structures sont
Yeah, the club is
pareilles de
ambitious
ce que-
about the
ce que t'as vu
academy.
en Europe ou
Structures have to be good.
il y a du travail.
Au niveau
Are
des
they in Europe?
structures,
Is there some work to do?
c'est équivalent à ce qui peut
Well,
se
about
passer,
structures, it's the
en
same
Europe, dans vraiment les bons
That's
clubs.
in Europe at the very good clubs. Then there are some
Après,
big
bon, il y a
differences.
forcément des grandes
One of the main
différences.
ones
Une
is that in
principale,
Europe,
c'est qu'en
young
Europe,
players
t'as
stay
les
in the
jeunes qui
academy
sont là
like
en
at a boarding
permanence,
school.
alors qu'ici, ils sont là que 3
While
ou 4
here,
heures par
they only
jour.
stay 3 to 4 hours a
L'autre
day.
grande surprise pour moi, ça a été que parfois,
The other big
on
surprise for me
peut
is that sometimes you can
proposer, un contrat
put a
professionnel,
professional
par exemple,
contract to a young
un
player,
jeune
and
joueur,
the family
et
will
la famille
hesitate
va
between this
hésiter entre le
professional
contrat
contract and
professionnel et les études.
his studies
C'est
at
l'université.
Et
university.
l'université, ouais. Donc c'est vraiment quelque chose de différent maintenant.
So
là où
that's
c'est
really
vraiment
different.
appréciable, c'est qu'on a des jeunes
But
qui
the
sont
real
vraiment à
valuable
l'écoute,
thing
qui
is
ont
that
envie de faire,
youngsters
qui ont
here
envie
are
d'apprendre.
truly listening.
Et
They
ça,
want to do
c'est-
well,
ça,
they
c'est
want to
formidable.
learn,
C'est
and
une
that's
différence
wonderful.
majeure avec la France.
We can
On sent
really
vraiment
feel
qu'ils
that
ont
they
envie
want
de
to
faire
do
quelque chose.
something, and
Et on a quand
we've
même
got this
nous, ce
feeling as
sentiment-là
Europeans that in
européen,
North
de dire,
America, when they
En
want
Amérique
to
du
do
Nord,
something,
quand ils ont envie de faire quelque
they're
chose,
pretty
ils y
good
arrivent, quoi.
at achieving it.
Et c'est vrai que c'est pas du leur, quoi. On sent vraiment qu'ils ont envie de le faire.
It's
On
not
sent
fake, they're
vraiment
willing
qu'ils
to
sont
do it.
ouverts à ça. Ils ont envie
They're open to everything. They want to learn first, then develop
Ils sont persuadés aujourd'hui qu'ils
their
ont un
own
excellent
young
potentiel
players
de
at
ce
clubs
côté-là.
because they're sure to get an outstanding potential with this potential. And young players is what Toronto want to lean on. Big names from Europe aren't their only solution to progress.
I think we're on the right path. You know, a lot of it has to do with how we develop players here in North America, and our academy system is maturing. You know, a lot of our academy systems are only 9, 10 years old. We're evolving in terms of our coaching education and how we raise our young players to really start reading the game and thinking the game. And I think as these young players develop into the guys who are the core players within each of our professional teams, then we'll really start to see that level and that side of the things grow.
This policy was already effective with some locally trained players amongst the first team, like Jonathan Osorio, who scored an important goal in the precious victory against New York Red Bulls, a result that sent Toronto into the playoffs for the first time. Historical debut, though, is tough on paper for 6th-ranked Toronto in the Eastern Conference. They had to beat their arch-rivals Montreal Impact, who were led by an impressive Didier Drogba, and motivated by their enthusiastic fans in the Saputo Stadium on October the 29th, just 4 days after a 2-1 defeat in the same place during the regular season. Montreal were superior from the start. Captain Patrice Bernier opened the scoring after 17 minutes. It was the beginning of a frenzy for Montreal, who added a second with Piatti and a third from Didier Drogba. 3-0 at half-time, 3-0 the final score. Good free kick from Giovinco. Well saved, though, by Bush. A severe defeat that was hard to take and brutally ended a fantastic season.
We did a lot of things this year that haven't been done in years past for this club and for this team as a whole. So this is a project. It's a process. It takes time. The group has to grow together. They have to bond, to trust each other. They have to go through. It's not supposed to look like it did tonight, but they have to go through these situations. You know, Seba, Jozy, Benoit, these guys have to get the sense now and feel of what a playoff environment looks like. And we need to feel this. We need to take this emotion in so that, you know, when we get back here next year, it's a different situation.
A big disappointment then for the group of talented players. Club staff and management team now have the next transfer window to think about their upcoming team. Maybe going on with more European stars to take the team to the next level. Winter in Toronto will now be long, but studious for sure, in order to start next season when it comes around in March in the best possible conditions. Well, tomorrow on MLS Week, we take a look at the best goals, saves and action from the regular season. And then on Friday, we have an exclusive interview with LA Galaxy star Steven Gerrard. Don't miss it.
Yeah, I don't compare myself to David Beckham. You know, two different people. Of course, I played with him and I'm a big fan of him as a player, and I'm also a big friend of him, but we are different players, so you know, I won't compare my time to David's. You know, he helped the MLS grow an awful lot more than that I will, because he's a lot more famous than me. He's more of a A-list celebrity, I'm not.